Hello everyone, it's me, your host. I had Push to Talk on. Welcome to the podcast. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our co-host here. Say hello, co-host.
How's everyone doing?
Dude, that's PogChamp. All right, so today we have a podcast, and we're continuing the three-topic structure. I'm gonna start off with capture the flag.
What a great game mode.
Yeah, honestly, a pretty great game mode. We both played about maybe 2 hours of it, so we have a lot of experience, and I think we understand the meta to a level that a lot of people don't. So
yeah, that's arguable,
yeah,
but I mean, it's pretty clear based on the limited map pool what's good and what's not good, and what can be pulled off that might not work on every map. But I mean, yeah, we've played enough.
Yeah, pretty much. We played a 6-stack, and we played capture the flag comp, and it was fun. We won most of the games. There was 2 games we lost. One of which there was a 6-stack. They ran a Doomfist that denied everyone that attacked, and then a Lucio that would just go all the way around on University and cap it. And that was an experience, and that's where you really learn that Lucio is completely broken in this mode. You just get your Lucio to cap the flag.
Not every Lucio is capable of skating the skybox. This one was, though. I mean,
yeah.
it's something that you see Lucios that are relatively proficient with wall riding be able to do the rollout from spawn and not touch the ground until they hit the point. Well, he went above and beyond, really. He was capable of not even touching the wall. He just skated the skybox and grabbed our flag and then skated the skybox straight back to their point. And
pretty much, yeah, that was fun.
GM Lucio one tricks apparently are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean he wasn't a Lucio one trick, but
he was pretty close.
He played DPS. He hasn't played Lucio ever, but yeah, it was an experience, and it was fun. The meta is basically the same. It's just basically quad tank, right? You have a Moira, Lucio, and then 4 tanks, which is usually Roadhog.
We proved that triple tank works as well because we did triple tank with Mei a lot, which
and then we also did McCree. That one game, and most of that is just because I can pop off really hard because I'm a god. But there's some strategy there as well.
Arguable, but yeah, you basically the enemy cannot actually grab your flag if they're dead. That is something we learned through the experience of playing McCree.
So they were let's put our McCree god on McCree, and he'll kill everyone, and you just sort of win at that point. What I mean?
When we put a slightly okay player on McCree to take care of, it works. But other than that, we can wholeheartedly say that characters like Reinhardt, Roadhog, Zarya, basically your traditional triple tank, mostly Roadhog.
Yeah, Roadhog is actually also broken in this mode because he just has so much health in the self-healing.
Plus, you can hook the flag bearer, which is huge when you have a character like Lucio. That's main goal once he has the flag is to GTFO and get to the next capping stage. If you can get that hook onto the Lucio or to the soldier or whoever decides to be ballsy enough to grab the flag, I mean it's game changing. So I mean just his kit alone I think makes him a favored pick for CTF. But also Zarya too, being able to protect your flag barrier on the way back with the your E.
And also the Grav is really
body blocking
really
a bunch
powerful.
of damage. Yeah. Grav is fight changing. Guaranteed if you can get 2 points and you build Grav in the time it takes you to get 2 flags, you will get the 3rd flag off of Grav.
Yeah, pretty much. It's it's powerful ultimate just like it is in normal mode. Normal gameplay.
Ryan being your line of scrimmage, your shield to advance, or body block damage, when your flag bearer is trying to get away, both very advantageous things. I don't think Orisa excels as much. Unless you have a top tier Orisa. Yeah. I mean even with the Lucio, Lucio in this mode can't really play with the team. He can't really carry a team with his speed boost. He actually has to be doing the tricky wall riding stuff to get him, and at that point he's just gonna outpace the team and leave Orisa in the dust. Basically kind of giving you a character down most of the time. We've proven that Bastion is a very good defensive hero if you have a team that's somewhat competent at trying to backcap.
I mean, yeah.
I would play the Bastion before I would play Symmetra or Torbjorn even, which is something we've seen a lot of teams try.
And Bastion are very good. I think both are arguable. I don't know if you can say that Bastion is better than Torb or Torb's better than Bastion, but I think Sim is an easy like especially when you're running like 4 tanks, they're weak to Bastion and Torb to some extent, but not against the Sim.
It's kind of arguable. Like you probably could pull off Sim if you do some tricky stuff with the TP. But other than that, I mean, like, it's just too inconsistent. Like, when we've played her, it worked a little bit in terms of, like, setting up some turrets to, like, get some damage down and, like, you know, just try to be that, like, gatekeeper for your own flag. But, like, she's just too weak of a character. Like, at least Torb can make armor packs for himself. And, like, his ult can kind of sort of stop a push. And Bastion is flexible enough to just, like, deal that ridiculous amount of damage. And like at least if they do manage to start getting away, you can just get out of recon mode and depending on the map, like maneuver to a better position and keep shooting.
Yeah, and I think like
heals, so
if
you
the
don't
enemy
actually
team
need...
is only playing like 1 tank or 0 tanks, then Sim is very good. But the problem is that like we're saying the quad tank is meta, so Sim is pretty much useless. And Torb has like the shotgun, which is very good against tanks. So that's the only reason he's arguably okay at tanks. But Bastion is just like does so much damage. It's really good.
And I mean, at the end of the day, like we won just as many games not having a gatekeeper for your flag, just having like much. You know, a 6-man push and like keeping them on their side of the map. Like I think aggression, like if it can be well controlled with like all those tanks, is arguably like your greatest like tool because you're just going to keep the enemy team away from your flag entirely by like pretty much like I don't want to say spawn camping them because you're not really spawn camping them, but like just keeping them around their flag and just making like that opening when your Lucio's there to like grab the flag and GTFO. And obviously, like, you know, Moira is a very powerful support with all these tanks as well because she can just like keep them alive for literally like days. Plus, she contributes like an okay amount to the DPS. Democracy, my ass. What is this background? We voted for Savanti. Yeah, I know. You know, like I made a really nice thumbnail.
No. And, listen.
Okay, let's leave this out of this segment. Back to CTF.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's a dictatorship. But that's a point, you know, in and of itself.
Yeah.
You know, CTF is not a dictatorship. It's actually like
CTF is not. Yeah, I can.
It's a fun game mode.
I can agree.
Mostly because you know you're not just coordinating your team like for like linear objectives like control points. You're actually coordinating your team to like attain like a map objective in a different way. Oh look at that. Nice. So are we just gonna like rotate thumbnails?
Dude, I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make it like, you know, there for a bit, and then I'm just gonna remove it. All right. So anyway,
just
yeah,
take it away.
CTF. You know, I think let's talk about the changes that they made from last year. So I don't have a list of them, but I believe they made it some more movement abilities cancel the flag. That you have to drop it if you use certain abilities, which
last year Pharah's jump jet I remember would let you keep the flag, and now I think you drop it. And like I'm not sure 100%. I didn't even try Pharah, but like I would assume that like her regular like right mouse button would like allow you to retain the flag, whereas like her jump jet shift would probably like make you drop the flag. But I don't know. Like I don't vouch for me on that. I haven't played her. It's just like to me the way that everything else works, because Tracer, I mean like Tracer's abilities, they don't let you hold the flag anymore. And I remember last year like your blink would still work. Soldier, can you run with the flag as Soldier?
I think so, but wait, maybe I don't know. There was a list somewhere, and I don't know where it went, and I don't have it. Probably should have saved it, but
okay. Franz says she keeps the flag with her passive flight, which makes sense. And I mean, like, you know, like there's a good amount of things. Lucio, he can amp with heal and keep the flag, but if he amps with speed, he drops it, which is kind of weird. I haven't tested Sombra out at all. I'm actually curious.
She can't stealth cloak, I'd assume.
But could she translocate?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think she could use either, honestly.
Because if she drops a translocator, grabs the flag, and teleports to like a ridiculously far off location, that would kind of be OP.
Yeah,
do
you think
see her being like abused?
Yeah, what happens if you like throw the translocator and then grab the flag? I feel like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you just drop it like where you were before you translocated.
In France, the CTF, the Masters level CTF expert, has now informed us that you cannot run as Soldier.
I think they should have kept it because that's like a strength that he could have. That I don't know. It's not that broken, right?
He's not a very strong character in CTF unless you're defending with him right now, anyways.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's why I don't think.
Well,
I don't know.
that's arguable because he is one of the few characters that can actually like, hunt down a Lucio a little bit. Like if a Lucio is starting to get away, he can get into position to like take him out quick enough. Whereas like most DPS heroes can't do that. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, the new very, very powerful.
No, the problem is if the enemy team is playing the meta with quad tank, Soldier's really bad against quad tank. Like you can make an argument for he's really good at picking off supports, and he is, and he like builds tactical visor fast, but he's not gonna actually do much against quad tank because his damage just isn't high enough. Pretty much, you know what I mean?
I mean, when like that's arguable because like he's just he is like such a consistent DPS hero, and I have heard like, and this isn't like throughout all elos, but I have heard of a lot of players trying to like just cap with Pharah as opposed to Lucio, which is what we've seen a lot in like the higher like diamond low masters area. So I mean, if Pharah is meta in like lower elos, I could imagine Soldier would be like really valuable because you can't really rely on all those tanks to take out a Pharah.
Yeah, if the enemy team is running like a Pharah, then it's very good. Especially on this new map combined, it's like very good. And I've heard that like some people that we know have one-tricked Pharah to high elo or like mid elo.
Here's looking at you, Strick out.
Yeah. So maybe that's actually a common pick, but we didn't really see it when we were playing that much.
No, honestly,
games,
we did like I've played like 11 games or 12 games, and not once have I actually seen someone try the Pharah. Or at least not once have I seen someone try the Pharah and not immediately switch off. But then again, like that's we were playing like I think our first couple games we had like maybe like a plat and diamond player, and then like especially in the 6 stack, like we pretty much immediately upgraded to playing like already placed masters players.
Yeah.
In CTF,
most
so
of those
at least
are
like at that point,
grandmasters
you can kind of assume
on main comp,
Yeah,
which makes a difference too.
Yeah, they're actually like capable of killing you.
Yeah,
but it
exactly.
was a fun experience, honestly. Like compared to Copa Lucio Ball, like I like what they wanted to do with Copa Lucio Ball, but to me like comp CTF is actually just more of like it's more of a rewarding experience because it's a lot more similar to like regular Overwatch. Like you actually feel like you're, I don't know, like I wouldn't say honing your skills, but like you still feel like you're playing the same game. Whereas Lucio Ball, it feels almost more like a mini game, which don't get me wrong, it's a mini game a lot of people like. But like, I don't know. I think overall CTF is just so far a better experience. Like I could see myself continuing to play comp CTF, where after like my 15th or 20th game of Lucio Ball, I was like done for the year,
Yeah, I mean, the same problem that I think is there is it's kind of like unclear what the difference between high skill players and low skill players, like SR wise, in these modes. Like with Lucio Ball, I wasn't exactly sure what I had to do to rank up faster.
You'd see people in like GM top 500 Lucio Ball, and like they'd be like golden plat on their like regular competitive.
It's like, what are they doing that makes them good at that mode? And I think the same problem is there with CTF is just not as bad.
What with the difference between the GM player in GM on Lucio Ball and the gold player GM in Lucio Ball is 900 hours on Rocket League.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically it. But I mean, at least CTF, because it has like it does rely a good decent amount on mechanical skill. Either that, or at least like at a very minimum, just be able to like skate like a boss on Lucio.
And most of the time, higher ranked players are able to do that better than a gold player can. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a good experience. Like honestly, I've enjoyed like competitive CTF a good amount so far. I think that the meta like does somewhat reflect the meta in competitive for a lot of the maps. But then again, consider that like right now, triple and quad tank is mostly being run on control center, like not control center in particular, but like control maps. And like a lot of the CTF maps are just control maps. And like the new map Iowatha could arguably be put into like another 2 map pairing at some point in the future, and would make like a really wicked control map, because it is a pretty fair
It
map.
seems to have a
It's
completely
well-balanced.
different style, though. Like, where would you put the point on that map? It would have to be in the middle, right? It's like near the elephant? I don't know.
Yeah, and then like I mean, it all depends. Like I could see like if they ever decided to turn that into a control map, like the point could be the elephant in the courtyard, and then like the meta would probably dictate like once you have the control point, like either holding further back with like the longer range compositions, or like trying to get like a tighter hold nearer to the enemy spawn to hold them sort of like in their flag area.
Because CTF is this map was specifically designed for CTF, so they have like high ground near the spawn, which you wouldn't see on a normal control map as much. So it would be an interesting meta, or it would just be like really bad. I don't know. It could go either way.
It could be the Horizon Lunar Colony of control maps.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the Junkertown of control maps. It could be, who knows? But
At the same time, like I don't know. It feels to me like it's more of a map because like there is a lot of like different like underground routes that you can take throughout the map. There is the high ground routes right out of spawn that are kind of like advantageous. So I mean, I feel like it's possible to balance as a control point map, but at the same time, you're not wrong in saying that like it's totally different than any other control map we've ever seen. Even though like control maps tend to make really good CTF maps.
I do really want a new control map though, which is why I'm happy that the next map will be a new control map, and like I hope it's really good. I hope it's poggers, dude. Because control, in some ways, it's the best map type, but the maps we have for control, I don't know, they're kind of monkish shake.
Yeah, you're not wrong, honestly. And I mean, like, with all the new maps that we're getting right now, it seems like the last 3 have had this trend of like,
being really bad. Yeah.
I don't even want to say it like really bad, like just not being 100% with like the approval rating of like the community, because Horizon Lunar Colony is not a bad map, but it's at least at the higher elos, people tend to not like it because you can't run a lot of
for one thing.
First of all, like 2CP, yeah, like you'll never get a positive response from a new 2CP map, but also just that it's a grindy, like awkward 2CP map where like you can't always run the same comps you'd be running on like Volskaya or
yeah, like Sombra isn't good on that map. Okay, she's good on that map actually. I realized as I said that Sombra's actually pretty good on that map, but it's not the same level.
It's not in the same way. Like you see teams like Dallas Fuel running Sombra on that map like in a really awkward way, where like they'll cram a bunch of tanks into that room and like farm the mega health pack, and then just like sort of like bait them in to like get some poke, and it's a different style of map, and like like Junkertown's the same way, where like you've never seen a map that so much benefits Bastion more than other heroes. Like it's almost broken.
Most of the escort maps you can run Bastion on. Like we saw a pro team run Bastion on Dorado. I don't remember what team it was, but it's definitely possible on most of those maps. But Junkertown is just like another level. Like it was actually meta. Like you had to run it pretty much.
For a while. I mean, I think it's arguable right now that you can like ignore the protect the president strat to a certain extent, but like still, I mean, at the end of the day, like Blizzard World, Junkertown and Horizon Lunar Colony have had a relatively poor reception, higher elos, and like, I mean, I'm hoping that a new control map will like at least sort of like appease people who have been not happy with like the most recent maps. And I mean, honestly, if they did decide to base a new control map off Iwatha, like that'd be pretty cool. Like, I mean, it would take it like in the same direction that they took with the other maps, where they're trying to like retain the sanctity of the game mode but do something different. But still, like you can tell arguably like that CTF is like the only real thing that they had in mind for this map, and
yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see this made into a full-blown control map. But
yeah, here's a question. I don't know if it relates to this segment, but I'm just going to ask it anyway. What do you think they're going to do for the next event? Isn't it Uprising next? I believe Uprising is next.
So if what they said is true, if what I read is true, what the plan is, so obviously they have the previous year's Uprising event game mode, like the little bit of storyline that they had from last year that they want to at least make accessible to players who haven't played it. So they're going to be bringing back all of the old Uprising story mode. Yeah. So you'll be able to go revisit all the things. Like to me, like I actually played during Uprising, but like it was kind of like in a period where I was playing a lot of other games, so I didn't even get the chance to like experience the full story mode. So I'm actually just excited that they're bringing all the old stuff back, so that I'm not missing out on that. Plus, and I mean, obviously Uprising is like sort of like Blizzard's unique event. It's not like any of the other events that they do.
Yeah,
In terms of like,
it's
like
directly related to
Christmas is
Overwatch.
Christmas. Like you throw snowballs and hunt yetis, and like like Halloween has like Junkertown or Junkenstein's Revenge. Like and like all they really did for that was release like a few additional panels of like the comic and kind of like gave a couple new characters and some new skins. But like Uprising is actually a story-driven event where like they try to expand on like the actual lore. So I mean, I know they're going to be if the rumors are correct, and like I think they're almost like confirmed rumors because it's like stuff that's coming off the Blizzard forums, like where Jeff Kaplan actually commented, or like one of the other game directors commented saying like so and so is something similar to what we're trying. But I'm pretty sure that they're going to be taking and like setting an additional story mode segment in the Omnic Crisis, which would be interesting because like I mean the original Uprising event was sort of like an early glimpse at like what happened in the Overwatch universe, and like if they have something set like in the heat of the Omnic Crisis, I mean we could get some really cool skins out of it, probably some lore that we didn't have before, and I wouldn't be surprised if like Blizzard takes and like makes Hero 27 part of like the Uprising 2.0 and like just sort of like releases Uprising and that hero at the same time.
That'd be interesting.
And then like yeah, I mean arguably speaking like they could do it as two separate events, like or two separate instances of like content where like they release the hero and then Uprising happens and that hero is part of it. But like I feel like it's a decent opportunity for them to like sort of combine one of their scheduled releases with like the new content of the event. So I mean, I don't know. I'm mostly looking forward to Uprising because I get, like I said, the chance to play the story mode that I didn't play last year.
Yeah,
and
that
like,
was probably the best mode that we've had. It was actually a lot of fun.
Well, the best PvE mode, hands down, from what I've seen, because what I've seen is mostly only YouTube videos. Because I think the extent of my Uprising experience last year was logging in to get the free loot box. Which is sort of a feels bad, but I wasn't playing as much Overwatch back then. So this year I'll be playing like all of the old mode and like probably experimenting a bit with that, and then whatever they release for a new mode, I'll probably be grinding the living hell out of that as well.
Yeah, that was one of the modes that I feel like there's actually a reason to grind it, because you could actually learn new things and new strategies. Where like with CTF, you basically learn the meta and you play the meta. It's not gonna change that much.
I mean, like, you can try different things. Like, we experimented a little bit, like I said, with different heroes. Like, we had like a 2-2-2 comp on a few maps that worked out really well, and then we had, like, certain points, like, University really favors having a Mei, just to, like, manipulate the environment a little bit and, like, wall people off. Like, someone grabs your flag and is trying to get away, and you wall them at a choke, to which there's, like, several. I mean, like, that's huge. Or alternatively, if your flag bearer is getting away and you put up a wall, keeping away the enemy team, like that's also huge. So, I mean,
and then it's like with Uprising, I think it's different because there's an actual end goal. With like CTF and Lucio Ball, you're just trying to get as high as possible with SR, with competitive mode, and then if you're not playing competitive, it's no goal. But with Uprising, it's actually difficult to complete the highest difficulty, and that's like a goal that people can strive for. It's even hard for like actual pro players. So.
Yeah, because it doesn't like each individual mode like difficulty setting provide like more story depth or something like that. Like if you play it on like the highest difficulty.
I think each difficulty just has like different voice lines and such. I don't think there's much else there. Just different voice lines to play during the thing. I wouldn't count it as more a story, but
yeah. Oh well, I mean, it adds something. At least it provides incentive to the players who wouldn't normally be looking at the hardest game mode and saying like, "Hey, I want to try this." Like, it gives them that little bit of incentive to actually go out and do it. Because not everybody's going to do the hardest game mode because it's hard, right? Some people who are more casual might actually just want to do it. For the sake of actually hearing those voice lines. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm glad that this event's a lot cooler than I expected, and I'm looking forward to the next one, and the new hero releases, and the next map, and any other good content they can bring to the game.
Yeah, pretty much. I hope the next heroes. I don't know. I want to say that I hope it changes the meta a lot, but then I also hope it doesn't, because that usually doesn't end up being a good thing. So, like when Doomfist came out, you just always ran Doomfist, and then
I think one of the things that's going to change the meta a lot is the hero changes that are coming up, or like potentially coming up, because they're looking at like essentially reworking like a fifth of the game.
Yeah,
which is kind of unprecedented considering, you know, like what they've done with Overwatch so far in terms of like keeping like heroes, because they've only ever really 100% reworked 2 heroes.
I'd say a bit more than 2 heroes, like Mercy, Lucio, Symmetra, and maybe another one.
Yeah, but Lucio, like, it's less of a rework and more of a series of buffs.
Because that would completely change the way you play Lucio. The completely changed.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong actually. Like,
I think that was a bigger.
I'm just thinking like in terms of like how they changed. Yeah, you're yeah. Well, I mean, they completely changed how Symmetra's mechanics worked in terms of her shield, and then they like changed like the refresh rate on her like turrets, and then they gave her a second ultimate. Like Mercy, they literally scrapped her ultimate, changed how Resurrection worked for the game, buffed and nerfed her. Either way, I mean, let's bring in Fello and we'll.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the new patch, the feature patch, with the supposed new changes. So, welcome, Fello. Welcome to the podcast. How was your day?
Hello. It's been pretty good.
That's good. It's better than bad.
Yeah, I guess so.
Alright, so we got a new patch on Thursday, and it was the Year of the Dog patch. We had a new event. Had a couple like changes. You can change your skin before matches. The game objective marker, you can change the opacity, so it's not even there. I think you can do that. And a couple other things that people have been asking for a while. But the main thing is they accidentally pushed a Sombra change, a Doomfist change, which the Doomfist one might have been intentional, and then I believe they pushed a May one too. But I don't know.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they did, but like I think that they've only rolled back Sombra.
Okay.
Oh, they rolled that back?
Yeah. So just to go over it, May's ammunition used to be 25, like for her like secondary fire, when you'd like fire a projectile, it used to be 25, so you'd get like, you know, out of her clip, 4 shots. Now they changed it to 20 so that she gets 5 shots total. Plus you can alternate primary fire and sort of like get a little bit more damage value out of it. And then Doomfist, he used to deal 11 damage with 6 bullets in his like fisty shotgun thing.
Yeah.
Now he does 6 damage with 11 bullets, so same amount of damage, different clip size, arguably all positive things. But Sombra probably had the most dramatic rework, where they basically retooled her kit without changing too many things, to sort of like re-emphasize what she is as a hero. I mean, so far Sombra has been like a hack a health pack, work around that health pack, coordinate your team. It's kind of a grindy mechanic because like you can't stand alone carry as Sombra if your team isn't willing to work with you. So, you know, it's all about farming your EMP and then getting these like clean engages where your team all decides to go in with you, you EMP, you lock down the enemy abilities, and you win a fight based off the advantage that gives you. But there's a lot of implications to that. And
yeah, the thing,
like I said, like
they're making her like an actual DPS hero, where you're basically never gonna hack health packs. I think there's no reason to. If you're not gonna charge your EMP, which is like the best ultimate in the game or one of, there's really no reason. And then I honestly think it's gonna make her unplayable, and they're never gonna play her in tournaments at all, because there's no reason to. She's basically gonna be a full DPS hero, and at that point, there's no reason to run her over Genji, Tracer, McCree, Soldier. They're all just better than her, right? They can do more, pretty much. Hacking isn't good enough because good teams will shut down the hacking, and I don't know.
But that, like with the rework that they leaked by accident, one of the things that was changed was her hack speed, which kind of does give her that level of advantage that she kind of needs, because they shaved like clear like 2.3 seconds or 2.3 milliseconds off of her hack or something, because it's like 0.6 seconds.
We have to see how short that actually is. I guess
it's really short.
I haven't tried it.
While it was live, I watched DeFran stream Sombra, and to a good degree of success, he was using her as a very offensive assassin character, where he could like translocate her to high ground, get a super speedy hack off on a Rein or a Diva, and then like jump on the supports. And like that seems to be like arguably with like what is left in her kit after the changes, probably the best way to play her. And like you still do build EMP really quickly if you're playing her more offensively. But again, one thing like you said that I didn't see him doing in any of the games that he played was actually hacking health packs, because like there is no more point.
Yeah, pretty much.
And when he did, it was in the few situations where his team was down and he was, you know, I'm going to hack these 2 health packs to give my team the advantage and like deny them from the enemies. And, you know.
I think in comp ladder, it might be fine because it's comp ladder, but I just mean in like a tournament setting or serious settings, there's just going to be no reason to play her ever because there's just better heroes in general.
And you're probably not wrong, but Fello, like, what do you think, like, with all the hero changes that have been made, do you think that there's anything that they could be doing for, like, the current, you know, list of workable characters like Mei, Doomfist, or Sombra?
Like, do you mean what
like,
hero, like, they
like, what could they do to Mei to, like, remove her out of F tier? Or, like, what could they do to Doomfist to make him more mainstream?
Honestly, I don't know what they could do to help fix Doomfist, because the way that people perceive him is just sort of a hero that's not fun to play against, and like it's either a very negative first experience or a very positive first experience, because either you go in, you hardcore feed, or you don't, and you get like 3 kills. It's typically not you do an okay job.
Yeah, arguably he's not the one that needs like a buff or anything. He more than anything like needs like a retooling, and like his shotgun retooling probably helps a good deal, because you feel less helpless when you get hacked, and you also feel less helpless like when your cooldowns are like, you know, clearing through.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know.
Like,
I
what
feel
about
like
Mei?
they, without completely destroying the way that he plays, they shouldn't do anything to him, and without making him completely broken, because I don't know. I don't think he's one of the heroes that needs a buff. There seems to be this like idea in the community. It's like, well, there's these like not played often heroes, these off meta heroes, and they should all be buffed so we can play them all. But the reason they're off meta isn't just because they're bad; it's because of the way that they're designed. And Doomfist is designed as sort of like a weird character that you wouldn't normally see in an FPS game, and other characters that these other characters are also designed in a way that is just it's weird for this game, and that's why they're not always played, and they're only played in situational times.
Yeah. They're sort of like Mercy, where they really have just like a very unique skill set. So, you know, it like you have your hit scan players, you know, they can play McCree, Soldier, Widow. But if you can play Mei, that doesn't typically translate over to other heroes unless you're really good with her mouse too, her icicle charge. And that could be a reason, is because it takes a lot of effort really to get good at Mei or at Doomfist or even Sombra. Well, I guess not with new Sombra, but like the old patch.
And that could be arguable, because one of the changes to her kit is going to be how her weapon spread works, and like it's going to take a while for anybody who's been used to playing Sombra to like get used to the spread. But
No, not
from
at
what
all.
I saw,
Because the spread is
actually
just
like
made better. It's not going to take him longer to get used to it. It's just going to be easier to aim. I don't think it's like it's just a buff. It's just a straight buff. It's not a change. It's a buff in my mind. Because
like Defran was like actually getting a significant number of kills when I watched him stream. Keep in mind, like, you know, he's not like a good benchmark to like put to like most Sombra players, I guess, because he is typically like, you know, he tracks really well. Like probably some of the best tracking in the game can come from that guy. So I mean, like, for him to pick up a character that they recently retooled and made it like better for players who can track properly, I mean, it's huge.
yeah,
Like, I don't know. Realistically, like, what I'm more interested to see, other than the heroes that they've kind of already like started to change or leaked, I'm more interested to see with the heroes that they're talking about changing in the near future.
yeah. The list so
like,
far is Mei, Sombra, Symmetra, Doomfist, Torb, and Hanzo. And yeah.
And honestly, I don't agree that Torb needs any fixing. I think he's in a good place where, like, when he's applicable, but like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't want to play the Torb, there's always another option. And like there are situations where like playing Torb is arguably throwing, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think you can make a stable builder. Like, you know, it's not something that like
Yeah, it's like
They're
I
much
said,
more
it just doesn't fit the game,
Yeah.
and it's situational.
like
so
when Symmetra was in a good place, there were maps where it was favorable to play a Symmetra on defense because like she actually was a powerful hero, but like they've retooled her so much and like changed the other heroes so much in ways that just made her like too easy to counter and easy to play around. Like it's almost like, oh, they have a Symmetra, they're playing a man down basically, let's just ignore her and like deal with her when it's convenient. But there was a time shortly after her retooling, or even before they retooled her, where it was like, oh yeah, Symmetra's relevant. Like you can play her on.
in
you
the
know,
beta, when there was competitions before the game actually came out, you always ran a Symmetra. She's actually meta. Like you can look up tournaments
Oh, yeah.
where they played Symmetra on control point, and just because of her shields, you just had if your
Yeah.
entire team had extra health, it was huge. So
I mean,
that
wasn't
was-
that the old patch though, where she gave about 50 shields
Yeah.
out, and you could just like put that on a Genji with the old Harmony
yeah,
orb,
just giving
where-
everyone like shields with like a permanent harmony orb is actually broken. So
Yeah.
that's where I mean, like, if you're gonna play a hero like that, a builder hero, it's gonna be because they're broken and they have an advantage. That's like that's huge.
yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I don't think that retooling Symmetra to bring her back to that place is going to be like something that Blizzard wants to do, because at the end of the day, like I still feel like she does need a buff in terms of like if they want to make her like playable in certain situations, the way Torbjorn's playable in certain situations, they need to do something. Because like obviously there is some players who play Symmetra to a good deal like of success at like the higher like levels, but their playstyle compared to somebody who's playing Symmetra in gold isn't really all that different. It's just positioning and like being able to like take advantage of the opportunities that are being presented to you, and like your team actually be willing to play around you for specific strategies.
Yeah. And then they mentioned Hanzo. They want to change Scatter Arrow, which, and I honestly think Scatter Arrow takes skill, which is an unpopular point of view. But like, it's not
It
the
takes
same as
a little bit of skill.
taking a headshot. But I think it takes a lot of skill to actually aim that. It takes more skill than every part of Mercy. It takes more skill. And
Yeah,
I don't
Yeah.
know.
like you kind of like you can miss with Scatter Arrow. Like it's not something that's guaranteed you're going to aim at their feet and win. It's like if you're not at the right angle or you are far away, it's significantly more difficult to hit than a lot of people like give it credit for. But I think like part of the reason that the change is being called for is the unsatisfactory feeling of other players who are playing like Orisa, or you know, like Orisa with 400 health shouldn't die instantly to a well-placed scatter arrow. You know what I mean? Like, and like it's that level of dissatisfaction like from the heroes that are getting scattered that kind of like make them want to rebalance Hanzo, because he's not a hero that you can play all the time, and like he's not a hero that's good on every map, and he's not a hero that's good in every situation. But you can pick him, and you can get that scatter off, and like easy clap, right? Like you're in an advantageous position as a team, and I don't know.
Yeah,
Like, there's a
E makes him
reason-
good.
Yeah, it's true, and there's a reason that we don't see him on every map. Like he's not good everywhere, but like even if you do pick him when he's not good and get a good scatter, like you've done well, and like that's not the same as like any other situational hero like Widowmaker. Widowmaker requires skill, and every map she's good and every map she's bad. Hanzo requires a well-timed E. Like
Yeah, I mean, like the reason why Hanzo, I feel like the reason why he's on that list is because he deals DPS, but it's very inconsistent. So like with a change, I'd expect them to kind of rework his bow and arrow, but just nerf his E slightly.
it's not even about nerfing his E. Like it's actually interesting because Hanzo's one of the heroes that they want to change. That we've actually got sort of input from Jeff as to like how they've looked at the change. So first they tried retooling Scatter Arrow so that you couldn't scatter off the floor. So they've changed the way that scatter's
really
spread works.
That's
Yeah.
That's really bad because at that
these
point
are the things.
it's useless because if you use it on any other surface, it's just already useless. So,
But like I
don't
said,
know.
like they're retooling. Like these are the things they've tried. They've retooled scatter first of all, so that it doesn't work off the floor, but they changed the way the spread works, so that like with enough practice, getting it off of a ceiling or a wall and like angling it, it's like the same thing as like Junkrat mines. You know, you gotta get that sweet trigonometry down. But I mean, there are some maps that have like ridiculously high ceilings or like really open spaces where you just can't bounce it off a wall, and at that point, you can't scatter. So that takes like the utility away from the character. Where at least scatter arrow always had the floor to like reflect off of. So, I mean, ultimately, I think that they have backburnered that idea. And then the other thing that they tried was retooling Hanzo so that they gave him something called piercing arrow, which also felt super unfair because it's similar to his regular arrow. Like, we've played the Hanzo paintball custom game type with 500% projectile speed. Like, everyone's tried that at some point. It's a fun game mode. But imagine, like, if that was his E ability. Okay, you have piercing arrow. But the way piercing arrow works, it goes through barriers. And I think it said, like, they said something about it potentially going through, like, multiple targets. So, I mean, think about that. Like, the reason that they're probably not going to go with that, at least what Jeff had said, was that it's super unsatisfactory as a player to be behind a barrier, feel safe, and then have a Hanzo headshot you. Because it's a projectile with like 500% speed, so is regular arrow, and it goes through barriers. Like, I mean, come on. Like, wouldn't you be like upset being an Orisa behind a barrier? Like, you took some Junkrat spam, so you're low, and then suddenly Hanzo's
and
like...
That's good reasoning to not do that. And on top of that, if you are like facing a huge tank comp and they're going in and you use that ability, that's huge. You basically just like you won the game, and you won the fight because it does so much damage,
600
and it goes through every character on the enemy team. So it's like
yeah, and like I said, like the third iteration that they looked at for Hanzo is like nerfing the crap out of scatter. So it's like nowhere near as powerful, but they keep the way that the mechanic works. And instead, you know how Hanzo doesn't reload? They bound an alternate ability to reload, where it would sort of be like a meditation type thing, where it like resets his cooldowns. So you press R, you do some sort of like reload animation, but like instead of a reload animation, what you do is you reset your cooldowns. But they found that was too broken, because imagine Hanzo with like, instead of 20 seconds for Sonic Arrow, he has like, I don't know, like 4 seconds or 8 seconds. Like, that's just like too much of his ability.
So they
almost
kept Scatter Arrow and they just added that ability. Is that right?
They kept Scatter, added that ability, but nerfed the shit out of Scatter Arrow to the point where like you would no longer be able to one-shot an Orisa, and maybe not even, from what I understand, maybe not even a 250 health character.
I think that was the best idea that they had, but it's still.
I think it's.
I don't know.
I don't like the ability that they added to that. That doesn't seem that useful. Or I'm sorry, like
it's super imbalanced, because imagine being able to Sonic Arrow, like I said, like every 4 to 6 or 8 seconds. Like, that's just, if you couple that with a Widowmaker, double sniper meta would be a thing.
yeah,
Easy.
It would be.
You'd get like good Hanzos and good Widows teaming up to duo queue, and it would just be like a terrifying experience. First of all, for the players that have to queue into the 2 guys that insta-lock snipers. Second of all, for the fact that, like, you know, a good Hanzo and a good Widow would literally just be carrying by like dropping Sonic Arrows all over the place and like, you know, free headshots and Scatter Arrow every 4 seconds. Like, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, it feels like it's probably like the most balanced retooling they did, but I feel like they're still gonna have to do a lot of work.
I want them to make it something that takes a lot of skill but has a lot of reward. Because that kind of ability, I said I like it, but at the same time, it doesn't take any skill to hit a button and reset your cooldowns. If they
one
have,
of the
like,
communities,
I don't know,
like one of the community members in the thread where Jeff had posted like some of the stuff that they had tried, suggested that they try something similar to like a poison arrow, and it seemed really cool because like it does require skill, because it would be the same projectile speed and like accuracy as his regular arrows. However, if you hit it, it's going to deal like damage over time, similar to like Widow's Mines. So,
I don't know. That doesn't seem good enough. Like, what's the point of that? You hit. I don't know.
It might be good enough if like the damage over time is like significant enough. Maybe not to like the extent that Scatter was, where it could take down a 400 health target if they didn't like get cleansed or something.
So what if it was something like the problem with that is if it was a low amount of damage, it wouldn't be good enough. If they made it a high amount of damage, like you could body shot someone with that ability and they would die anyway, and like that'd be unbalanced. Like
it would be a little bit unbalanced because like I mean you're not wrong. Like if it's like such a high amount of damage, like I said, it could take out a whole Orisa. Yes, that's too much. But like I don't know, like let's say it's like your initial amount of arrow damage and then 100 damage over time, but it could be cleansed by like anti-nade and bubble and like fade and stuff like that. That might be like an okay enough mechanic to say that it's good, but like at the same time, like maybe if you couple like poison arrow with like a harsh enough cooldown and enough damage, and then you maybe also do what they said about the reload mechanic, that might put them in a good place. But like I think it'd be interesting to see like some of the other suggestions that I saw was like an area denial arrow, like some sort of like net. But I imagine that like adding something like that in the game would probably take a lot of like they'd have to basically design a whole new system, and I don't see them doing something like that for like Hanzo.
Yeah, so I honestly don't think there's an idea that's just perfect for him. There's a lot of pros and cons to all the suggestions that have been made, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think he's in a fine place right now. It's not like they never play him. He gets more playtime than Symmetra, so you know.
Feels Symmetra, man. But yeah, you're not wrong. It'll be interesting to see what they do to Hanzo and Symmetra. I actually don't want them to touch Torb at all. I think
Fello,
that like.
Do you think there's a character that deserves a change or something, and do you know what that change is, or?
Like, I think that the game where it's at right now is really good. Like, the only character that I think really needs a rework is Mei. But the only reason why I think that is just because the way that the game is set up right now is that for the majority of maps, like, movement-based characters are really strong. And it seems like the way her toolkit is set up, it seemed like the thought process was aerial denial, but that's not strong if you can just take another flank route, and that basically just mitigates her kit.
Or dive and like seriously, like 90% of your comp can just jump over the friggin' wall.
Yeah. But
I also think that she might be like a little bit stronger now that the Mercy meta is kind of like out, because like you know you don't really have many supports that can like make it over that wall.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, it's all about like how you play her, I guess, because you can still gain like quite a bit from using the wall. But like you're not wrong. Like there's too many characters that it just doesn't actually like do anything for. Like I mean, if Hanzo and Genji could walk over the wall and like Winston and D.Va can just jump over, I mean, does it really help?
Exactly. But I don't really know how you would fix that problem, because it's more of her toolkit and less of the skill ceiling.
I mean, they're kind of like upping her lethality a little bit with like the ammo changes, which is good, but like I mean I don't know what else they could do, honestly. Like increase her projectile speed, make her a sniper. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was that way at one time, and it was actually completely broken. It was insanely broken. It was insane. Like I remember, I think it was the beta, where I don't know. It was just like a must pick, sort of. It's just really broken if you increase projectile speed.
Man, I'm glad I didn't play in the beta. Like you'd like maze and Symmetras everywhere. It's like that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, pretty much. And like McCree was broken even after launch, and I don't know. It was a fun time. Fun.
McCree like fan the hammering and killing people from across the map. Like
yeah.
No hero limit, so you had like 2 Symmetras, 2 Mays, and 2 McCrees. Like just oof.
Yeah, I was watching like Seagull play the old meta, and oof, it was just
it was terrifying.
Yeah, it was a monkey shake.
I'm glad that the game is what it is today. Like a lot of people complain about like balance and stuff and how long Blizzard takes to balance things, but if you consider like what Overwatch started as and what it is today, and you think about balance, yeah, dude, it's a lot better.
I mean, especially how complex the system is. I mean, it must take. I can't imagine the process that they'd have to go through to check each individual hero change that they're gonna make. Because it like just think about this: one single hero rework will affect how the game will be played against 26 other characters for that one hero. And
Yeah,
you know,
they have to like make sure that the mechanics for like all of those characters are still going to function with whatever changes they make.
mhm.
And I mean, like you think about like some things, like apparently Moira's healing has been bugged since launch. Doomfist, I mean, like how many bugs did he go through and still has? And then like you look at Mei, they're like, oh wow, we're going to change her clip size. Oh, suddenly she can fly in deathmatch. Monka shake.
Yeah, I think the pro scene is a lot better now too, and like the skill of the pro players has gone up a lot. And Koreans, the Koreans are actually good at the game now. And speaking of the pro scene, I think we're gonna move on to the esports segment. Thank you for being here, Fellow.
Yeah, we
What a
appreciate
god.
your input, man.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna put you in the lobby now. Thank you.
Go back to doing your homework, dude.
Dude, feels bad, man. All right.
Hi,
Welcome
Franz.
to
Hi.
the podcast.
Dude,
Hello.
your segment was moderately delayed today. How does it make you feel?
It's fine because I get to watch more Owl games.
Yo, can we just talk about Pine for a second? Like, what a legend, dude. What an
What a
actual
fucking god.
dude.
The 4K?
Yeah, dude, that was nutty, dude. Legendary.
I mean, honestly, like Pine carry, but
Yeah.
can we talk about like what is Houston going through right now?
A lot of pain.
Like,
I think they did really well.
I did much better than
For-
people expected, at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were
Like-
quite a few times where Houston honestly should have won a fight. Like they'd get it down to one or two people and they just couldn't finish it off, or the respawns would get back just in time or something. Like Houston did very well.
do you
They
think that's
just
like bad
couldn't-
target priority by Houston, or do you think that's just like extremely good like pulling out and like re-engaging by London?
I think London just had better stalls, and I think that London was just better, and you could see that they learned from their. Was it like a 4-0 before?
It was a
Yeah.
3-1,
I think-
yeah. 3-1.
Yeah, I think they learned a lot.
They really wanted it more, I
Yeah,
imagine.
the
But I mean,
look on Linkser's face afterwards he was devastated. I really wanted to see. Almost called him Jake Rat. Jake's. I want to see Jake's face after they lost, but
Dude, that's they didn't show Jake's face, dude. Like the observing team, man. It's like, what are you doing? Like you gotta show Jake's
Yeah.
face after
they were
you ever see
mostly
that,
showing
like-
London just
you ever see
celebrating.
that meme where like the guy like face palms through his head? I imagine that's what Jake looked like.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, Linkser had his head in his hands. He was upset. But-
feels Linkser, man. Like that guy's
Yeah.
an actual god. Like he's probably like one of the best.
Oh, he
DPS
was
I've ever
nuts. He was
played.
carrying so hard. Jake had a few weird Junkrat tires, and Prophet was able to get some really good ones. I think that caused a lot of it, but overall, Fury was nuts. He was able to stall out a lot. Jester's been playing pretty well. But
yeah. I mean, honestly, like we're seeing like probably like the highest level of play that's available in Overwatch League right now until the meta changes. So
Yeah.
you kind of expect like, especially being that these are the title matches for the season. Like we're gonna see a lot of people like really like giving it their all. And
yeah, for sure.
Matters a lot. There's a lot more on the line than like the first maps in the season. First match.
I guarantee, even though I know what happened, like, I guarantee you, I'm gonna go back tomorrow and probably like watch that match just because like I know how good it is.
yeah, it was. I only was able to watch like the last map and a little bit of the second to last map. But from what I saw, it was a lot closer than the 3-1 indicates.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good match.
It's like a 3-1, but every single one of those three was like so close.
Yeah,
Kind
of
of
the
thing.
ones I watched, it was not. You couldn't really tell it was a 3-1 by how well Houston was playing.
I
That's
watched
actually
Ilios
awesome.
and Houston was rolled really hard. That was not
Yeah.
a close match at all. But the other ones, I didn't watch any of the other ones, so maybe they were closer. Houston is just really bad in control in general, and that's mostly because Jake can't play anything besides Junkrat, and that's
Yeah.
That's the part where Junkrat's the
I
weakest.
mean,
so.
he's situationally good with other heroes, but like, I mean, his Pharah is not up to par
His
with
Tracer.
like Prophet or
Monkey Shake.
like
Yeah,
his
I was
Tracer
watching.
is. He shouldn't be on Tracer. Like Linkser should be on Tracer, but if you're gonna run Tracer Widow, then
I think they should try bringing Clockwork more for control maps, maybe.
you
Yeah.
probably
Just try it.
Maybe Mendo.
Yeah,
Oof,
maybe
okay.
maybe get Mendo good at the game and then bring him in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, teach him how to play like anything Jake can't play, and then Jake can just play
Just teach him
Junkrat.
to be a good tracer and then poggers.
Yeah,
That'd make the team a lot better, because right now they're in a spot where they don't really have a good tracer player, even though they have like 4 players that can play tracer. None of them can play tracer at a really high
Yeah.
level that every other team
Yeah, and I
can.
think Linkster is probably your best tracer, but he's also the best at like everything else
Yeah.
too. So you can't have him playing everything, unfortunately.
I mean, he does have feet.
I mean, nothing's,
I don't know if
nothing's
that's
stopping
gonna-
him really, other than himself.
Yeah, I think he just needs to like man up and play like 2 accounts at once. Like it just needs to happen.
That can't possibly be banned by Overwatch
We'll
at
give
all.
him like a foot cam, and like like instead of like panning to like everybody like Cool Matt and Muma, and then like it'll just like pan to Linkser and then Linkser's feet, right? The real
Yeah.
stars of the show.
I think
Um,
Muma had some questionable decisions, but I mean,
Rolled and smoked my doggy.
yeah.
That's all I can say about that. But I mean, enough about what's going on right now. Like
Yeah.
the title match is still going on. Like it's very close. London, just pushed not so convincingly, but all the way to 3rd. So we'll see where that goes. We'll come back to it. But pickups, phase 2 of Overwatch League.
Poggers.
I
dude.
think
Poggers.
I think this week you're going to see a lot of the coming week and a half. You're going to see a lot of news.
That means you're going to be on the
About that.
podcast again.
Job security, baby.
Job
Yeah.
security. Yeah, buddy. So, okay, like, and familiarize me with this. How does this actually work? Anybody who gets picked up right now, or has been already picked up, like AKM, we'll say, are they going to be eligible for play in Stage 2?
Yeah, they can play
Yes.
immediately in stage 2.
I'm not
Yep.
sure AKM is like officially signed yet, has he? Or
No,
Did I
I'm
miss
pretty
that?
sure. I'm pretty sure he is because he was at like the training facility with them. So like I'd assume
yeah,
that
yeah. I didn't know. All the latest I had heard was that they were in process of signing him. I didn't know if they'd actually.
that was about a
finished
week
that deal
ago.
or
So
not.
I'd
I
assume.
didn't know if they'd actually finished that.
And then
There are
there's something that says that So What has been picked up, and is that like 100% confirmed? Because I don't know where this is from.
I'm not convinced of that one.
I'm gonna go with like 70% confirmed because it seems likely that they would be looking for a more consistent, more aggressive main tank.
XQC
potentially
is on
one-
your team though.
Yes, I understand, but like there's 2 things that I think like confuse the Dallas feel right now with XQC. Because first of all, like he's more than likely one of the mechanically like higher up mechanically gifted main tanks in Overwatch League.
In my opinion, he's the best Winston in NA that's not Korean, pretty much. He's up there with the Koreans at least.
And honestly, he's probably still better than like some of the Koreans. Like he's really good, but like the
Yeah.
problem with XQC is like, and this is what I see. Like first of all, he is a PR like hazard. So at any given day, he could
Hazard
just
is
be-
an understatement.
yeah, PR nightmare. Like so, at any given day, he could be just booted from Overwatch League, and then it's game over. Like they're stuck with Coco, so they need a backup, which might be like one of the reasons they're looking for So What. They might not even play the guy right away. They might just want to have him on the back burner, and like, maybe not sign XQC again. Like I don't. It's iffy.
I don't
like
know.
Trade
I hear Nox
XQC to
is,
Shanghai. Pog.
Your
champ.
Nox is not in Overwatch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nox. I don't
And
know.
I hear you've
Everyone was
signed
thinking that
AKM.
Nox would make it into Dallas's team. That was like everyone thought that the 7th member for the 8th member for Dallas would be Nox, if I remember correctly, because they're thinking he can play Lucio when Harry isn't playing Lucio, and his Winston's really good. It's better than Coco at least. So
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
But what
And
I think
and
is
if
going to
they
be
have
interesting.
AKM, they still have that synergy too. So
Like
Yeah.
I don't know like if language barrier is like factored into like these decisions, because when you think about it, like AKM, if AKM is going to be playing in place of Effect or alongside Effect, XQC is French. AKM is French. That might
does
create some sort of
XQC speak French?
Dude, XQC is French Canadian as they come, dude. He's from
Well,
Quebec. He's literally
Dude,
like
he made
Frencher
a tweet.
than me.
My thoughts are in English now, dude. They were in French before, so of course he speaks French, dude.
Okay.
Come on.
I didn't know.
Yeah, man.
I'm pretty sure
You
AKM can
parle
speak
français
English
vraiment
though.
bien.
From
Yeah,
pretty
like
good
oh yeah,
level.
AKM is like
But, you know,
he's like sooner, you know, like or Unco, sorry, like Unco's English is like almost flawless. It's just he still speaks with the French accent, and when you interview
there's no
him,
problem
it
there.
sounds
What do you
like
mean?
it's
Uncle's a
Edu
god.
Doctorile.
Uncle's an actual god. He was the only
He
good
did.
player on Rogue. He's the only like likable player on Rogue. Everyone on Rogue
You know,
is just a trash
If he
can.
stays on Ally Valiant like any longer, he's actually going to speak Korean better than English, though.
Yeah, probably.
No, but really though, at the end of the day, like I don't know if like I said, I don't know if language barrier like factors in, but like maybe if they want to run AKM consistently, like you know, like XQC is going to be like a benefit for those situations, or like maybe they want like a Korean main tank player to like communicate better with Effect because Effect's English is like not that bad. Like
Someone
he
kill
makes a
Komat, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
what?
Someone kill Komat, please. There's this clip of
Zen-
him like yelling that in comms on an Overwatch League match. It's
Lol, dude. Anyways, but yeah, so like at the end of the day, like I think Effect like is probably one of the Korean players that like has worked on his English a lot more than you know the people who are in all Korean teams that don't need to. But like his English is still very shaky, and I don't know if that like affects them because like it clearly didn't back when it was like just the OG Envious roster. But it's something that you have to consider now with like all these new players. Like, are they having any issues communicating with Effect? And like, I don't know. Maybe
I don't
Korean
think that's the
main
problem. I
player-
think communications might be a problem, but I don't think effect is the reason for that.
Yeah, I don't think it's effect. I think it's everyone just being bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oof, you know what? Too real. You're not wrong. Like the performance from the rest of the Dallas Fuel roster has been inconsistent to say the least, and it's clear that they're like really willing to just try like you know anything at this point to try and like fix their issues, including like signing AKM and potentially so what.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
no-
I don't like. So what?
also
And
think-
Guguri kind of go in the like pointless category of like
Yeah.
signings.
Yeah, we're gonna move over to Shanghai now. So there was rumors that they were picking up these 3 kids. One of them was the best flex support in China, and the other 2 were an off-tank player, a main tank player, and a Genji projectile player. And then recently it's more accepted that they're picking up Ado and Geguri and Fearless and the flex support that's really good in China. Picking up the flex support that's really good. I mean, that makes sense, right? The 2 support players right now are probably the weakest part of the roster, so getting a better support player is insane. Geguri, they already have 2 very solid main tanks, or off tanks. I don't know why you need Geguri, like, ever. I don't even know why.
The theory that I've heard behind signing Geguri is that they want to take because they have 2 very solid off tanks, but I can't remember which one. One of them is tank flex, like he'll play either or.
MG.
MG.
Oh,
yes.
I know MG can flex on the Widowmaker apparently.
Oof, dude.
I had to look him up for fantasy, and he said like one of his most common heroes is Widowmaker, and I was a little taken aback by that. But yeah,
I want to see
apparently
that
he can
guy on
flex.
Widow.
Apparently he can flex to DPS and other
So-
heroes.
Like we already know MG, like pretty decent diva, like arguably like one of the more consistent tanks. God tier Zarya, which is one of the things that makes Geguri like a really sketchy pickup because like obviously you kind of want her for her strongest hero. She's known for playing Zarya, but like we saw MG like literally destroy Dallas Fuel on Zarya, like absolutely destroyed, like 70%, 71% average charge, like under a minute average grabs.
Nice.
Like that's
Yeah.
actually insane statistics.
Yeah,
if you can
they-
finish an entire map of Control Center with 71% charge on Zarya, like what, dude? What face? And they're picking up Geguri.
Yeah, I mean Geguri's Diva's been much improved, I think.
But arguably MG plays a consistent diva.
And
Like
Zushu
maybe not
too.
like tier
Like,
1.
Both of them, I think, are better than her, arguably. And it might be close, but it's still like, why do you pick her up? I don't understand why. There's no reason.
So the theory, like
Listening,
I
my
said,
dog.
is like one of the tank players, one of the off tank players for the roster, would be switching over to main tank, because I can't remember if it's Jushu or MG, but like one of them apparently flexes main tank. But I or either that or Gigery is going to be like learning main tank or something. Either seems like a bad option, but I mean, when you have Roshan as your main tank, you kind of want to try just about anything.
Roshan isn't that bad. Like Roshan's bad, but like
Roshan is not that good either.
yeah, you're not wrong, but he's still not the biggest problem on the roster. What they need is they need actual support players, then get a better main tank maybe. But
I think Roshan just needs a little bit more support.
It seems like they're going for all of it at once, though. They just want like a new tank
really
line,
aggressive.
a new support line, and they just want to give Dia Undead like the team that they deserve, you know?
Does Shanghai have an academy team?
no.
I can't remember.
They do. They do. 100% they do. I remember. Yeah.
Is there
The
a
only
chance he goes
teams-
to the academy team?
The
or
only teams that do not have an academy team are Seoul and Dallas. 100%. So, and Houston has 2. Okay, shake.
Yeah, because that's necessary. Either way, I mean, like they some of these pickups, because nothing has been confirmed, and like, you know, a lot of the pickups haven't been confirmed. But like at the end of the day, like they might be for the academy teams.
Yeah, that's
It didn't look like that from the leaked tryout roster photos. But at the end of the day, it could still be just that like they're using some of their main core members to like try out academy people. Like, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's totally possible. To be fair.
It's going to be interesting. Like we'll see how it rolls out. I mean, I kind of would like assume that they have a purpose for all of these players in mind, but this is coming from like arguably the weakest team in Overwatch League. They're not underfunded. They have like tons of support. Like they have like more coaching than Florida Mayhem. Like Florida Mayhem, I don't know if you knew this, but they're like seriously the most like one coach, like fundamentally like the lowest staffed team in Overwatch League, not only in their roster but in every other.
The bus. To Vic drives the
to
bus.
Vic. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, that's one that I haven't heard.
Yeah, he actually just drives the bus to like the practice facility or whatever. Monk shake.
Oh man, you know I feel really bad for Florida because like it's like
wait,
you,
Tavik can drive and
Apparently.
yeah, you know that they have cars where they're from.
like he can drive, like he has his driver's license and shit here.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so like if you have a driver's license in the U.S. and you come to Canada, you can rent a car. Did you know that?
No.
Wow. Okay, you can. Did you know if you go to Australia, you can rent a car with your American driver's license?
Didn't fucking know that.
Dude, did you know that if you
I'm like uncultured swine, alright?
all right,
the deep woods of Kentucky. I don't know shit.
the deep woods.
Deep woods of Kentucky, dude. Kentucky's
And not
gift
even,
to
like,
esports, probably. Is there
Yeah,
anyone
yeah,
that's actually better than you there? Do you know?
Probably
What's
not.
Is
Is there
there
anyone that's
anyone
better at
actually better than
Overwatch
you?
than you in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
No,
I
I
suck.
doubt it. I doubt it, dude. You live in Kentucky.
I just have the best internet out of everybody.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Everyone else just has like 500 plus ping. So these.
All right. Just a quick Overwatch League update, but New York just took Junkertown.
Yeah, I know. Everyone.
They had
knows.
4 minutes to not even get first point.
Yeah, dude. New York is gonna 4-0 because they're actually like 3-0. Sorry, they're gonna 3-0 because they actually want to win and like they're the best
Oh,
team.
this replay. Holy shit.
And also Pine is a god. That's the other reason, dude. Pine is. Can you not love that team, dude? Like it's so legendary, dude. They have good players. They can speak English better than like.
They're the only
XQC.
Korean team that dabs.
That too, yeah. Like Pine Dab is an amazing emote, guys. Look at this, Pine Dab. Look at that.
You're not
Look at
wrong.
Shake.
Got him, dude.
All right. So we're gonna move on to Pit Season 3 NA. All right. Now this is something that I just wanted to bring up because I saw it this morning. I was like, you know, this is interesting. So the people that are gonna be in Pit Season 3 NA are Envision, Fusion University, Kongarna, LCG, No Clout, Overwatch League mid-season pickups, and Fractal Esports, and also a Houston Academy team. It just says Houston Outlaws, but like I'm assuming that that's an Academy team, right?
One of them. One of the two.
One of them.
So,
And
like-
so we're probably this starts like tomorrow or in a couple days. So we're probably gonna see the Houston Academy roster very soon, that's pretty exciting, dude. That's a pog
Mhm.
champ, dude.
Yeah, that's actually really cool because I mean it's basically beat with the Houston team.
Yeah, pretty much. And
This
I've
is a
heard
tournament
rumors
that
that
we've already seen. No
Overwatch
clout,
League
they're gonna lose. It's PogChamp.
Overwatch League mid-season pickups is rumored to be picked up by Renegades, or is that a fact? I don't know. But Fractal Esports wasn't in beat either because they're toxic and they probably triggered the management. But you know, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Who knows? Like, I don't assume. I've played with one of their players in comp.
How is that team still alive?
I don't know. I mean, they're good, I guess, right? So that's why. But
Yeah, but I mean, like, at a certain point, do you just like get barred from competition altogether? Because like, I feel like they've encroached on that like a couple times.
yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, they have like one player that's not that toxic, and then you have like the rest of the team, and Monk is shake, dude. They have one player that plays the controller like PK, right? And, like, my team is basically Fractal Esports, pretty much. I mean, PK is not going to be on the team for much longer. But anyway, what? Nobody watches this podcast. Nobody watches this podcast, dude. Like, no, it's okay. I can leak that.
We have one viewer right now, and it's probably Franz, but that's okay.
No, I exited the stream earlier.
All right, who's?
Oh.
We have 0 viewers right now. No, we actually nobody is watching besides Moobot, me, and you. Okay. All right, it's okay. I'm allowed to leak things on.
Can I get a feels bad man in chat?
No, because nobody's there.
All right, I'm gonna put
That's
a feels
fine.
bad man, dude. What do you mean? So
Nice, Sue.
yeah, I just wanted. When does it start? Do we know actually? Hold on, let me look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
I think it's like midway through next week.
I looked it up on
I saw Monday
over.gg
somewhere.
and I couldn't even find it. I'm probably just blind, but
Pretty sure it starts on
oh,
Monday.
there now it's there. It's February 11th or 18th, so tomorrow.
Yeah, nice.
But
Wait, on
Wait.
Wikipedia it says that there's all the teams I listed and 3 to be determined ones, and it doesn't list Houston. So basically, this means that Houston, and then there's 2 other teams we don't know about. Basically, there's 2 other
Okay.
ones besides the ones I listed. Is that
The other Houston Academy team, like,
the Shanghai Academy
over.gg
team?
hasn't added any of the other teams that you mentioned other than the ones from Beat
straight
Yeah,
to the Scrum
and
Cup
Fractal.
hit season 4. Stay woke.
Yeah, Stay Woke will be there.
Yeah.
It'll be
Especially after
straight out
my-
of WBC Amateur Rising 2. That'll be
Especially
their new
after
name.
my coaching session on Wednesday.
Oof. Yeah, that's popular.
Like, can I know? Can I ask who it is? Do you know? Is it someone who's actually like known, or is it some
It's
random kid?
Yeah.
Akawa, I think. Number
XQC.
55. Number 55 main tank in NA.
Akawa. I don't even know who this kid is. He's probably a bot, but
He's number 55 in NA right now.
He plays Winston better than you play McCree. Bruh.
Got him.
Got him, dude.
He's like 1 or 2 spots
Oh, I
above
found him.
us. So there's that.
I found him, dude. Legendary. He plays main tanks pretty well. That's cool. All right, that's a cool guy. I'm not gonna be toxic about it. What a guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, in unrelated news that's esports related, I lost to friends in Fantasy League. Can I get a Pog champ, dude? I'm actually disappointed about that.
Fucking
Dude,
champ.
I don't know how I lost, dude. Okay, I do know how. You have Profit, and I don't have Profit, and that's why I lost. And dude, like, he's playing right now. Like, you're just gonna get more points. It's unwinnable for
Yeah, I didn't even I had one guy not even play this week and I still won.
me. Dude, wait. Hold on.
Effect didn't even play this week and I still beat you.
Listen. You have Effect who didn't play, right? But then you got to look at my roster for a second. Hold on, let me look at my roster, right? To be fair, I have Undead on my roster, right? And it's basically the same thing.
And Striker, who apparently did shit all.
Yeah.
I don't even want to look.
What?
I really don't even want to look. If I lost.
Wait, okay. How many points did Mickey get? Because I could have won with Mickey, possibly. Hold on, let me check. Does anyone know how many points Mickey got?
Oh my god, Savanti. Oh my god.
Can we get a rip?
You
in
lost.
No, Savanti's,
oh.
Savanti's winning.
Oh, okay.
But
Alright.
but here's
by
the
less
thing.
than 30.
I have to hope
dude,
that
he has Sabiobi and Joan.
Jonak
Okay, you
get-
lost, dude. You lost, man. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you've actually lost.
So anyway, thank you for joining the podcast. We just talked about things we didn't need to talk about, and nobody's watching anyway. So like, it's one of those things that happens.
Rip in chat.
Yeah, rip and chat, dude. It's dead
Emoji.
podcast. Was it
You know-
ever not dead? No.
Yes.
But- no.
kind of.
Like last
Arguable.
last episode had some viewers to be okay.
You know,
Everyone-
earlier in
everyone
chat
was-
we had a rando say that oh my god, I love you. This is so awesome. Moon 2S. It was probably Melonfish.
Probably. Alright, so anyway, thank you for joining us. 0 people. We'll see you all in the next
All
episode.
0 of you.
Let's roll the ending theme.
Yeah, that's what I was going on. I was just kind of hoping you guys would mute yourselves.
Wait, we have an ending theme?
Mercy main, mercy main, mercy main, mercy main, mercy main, mercy main, mercy main. I one trick with no shame. I play mercy cause I can't aim. Ooh, could've went symmetric, but it's not the same. I be carrying my team like every game. Made it top 100, hope I don't decay. Mercy main, mercy main, mercy main. Mercy main, mercy main, mercy main, mercy main, mercy main, mercy main, mercy main. I one trick with no shame. I play mercy cause I can't aim. Ooh, could've went symmetric, but it's not the same. I be carrying my team like every game. Made it top 100, hope I don't decay.